Yo, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Claru.
And this is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Episode 7, we find out the truth. Sort of.
Yeah, sort of.
Sort of.
Is this your favorite word?
It is. Oh, it's the penult. I forgot there were 8 episodes. Yeah, it's the penultimate episode. It's my favorite word.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'm hoping it's my favorite episode.
Yes, me too. That would be nice. I'd be down for that.
There's an interesting phenomenon going on with the show that I would like to bring up before we get into it, where I feel like a lot of the Percy Jackson fans that I have found on TikTok because of the show agree with us.
Yeah.
And a lot of our commenters don't. And it is an interesting phenomenon of people being like, every Percy Jackson fan loves this show. And then I go on TikTok and people are like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, the audience seems severely divided depending on what platform you consume your content on.
Yes, and I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
TikTok Percy Jackson fans seem to be more worried about the direction of the show, and YouTube fans seem to be more defensive of the direction of the show.
But also, the YouTubers are starting to, turn to our opinion of it as well. Like, some of the people
I don't
who
think
are
they are.
like,
I think they're
Percy
way
Jackson.
more critical than I am. Like, I think episode 6 is bad, but I think the first 5 are pretty great.
Yeah.
Just with, things that I don't love. Anyway,
Yeah.
This is it was just very interesting to see YouTube be much more positive than TikTok on something, where I feel it's usually the opposite. That was all I wanted to bring up.
True.
If you want flying through, actually go to patreon.com/nerdynightly. But if you don't, stay here, because you're already here, and Percy Jackson is about to go to hell.
Wow.
That's just,
No, I
that's
know.
it. They've already seen the episode.
This is definitely a front for drugs.
No, actually, it's not.
Well, hello there.
Child.
Missing our mummy, are we?
I know who you are. You're Procrustes.
Oh, he just knows. Okay.
The beds are a trap. That's how you do it.
Okay.
I know there's a secret passage to the Underworld here. I know you were left here to guard it.
Apparently Percy Jackson has read Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief. He's just skipping over the figuring things out. He just knows stuff.
Are we sure this is the right way?
Yep. Yeah, it's the right way.
That'll do it.
Better?
That's funny.
Grover needs a fidget spinner.
I just think it's safer if I'm not holding them all.
Who's gonna lose theirs?
Right. I mean, they have to add some narrative tension because they keep cutting over any narrative tension.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just like, how did they get here? How did they know that the beds were a trap? You know what I mean? It's like,
Not a clue.
it doesn't matter, I guess, but
It would have made the previous scene more interesting, but...
yeah. I just think it's odd the way these guys keep falling, like they keep walking into traps and just announcing what they are. Whereas in the books, they have to figure stuff out,
Yeah.
but they just already know.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a negotiation. The only question is how ugly you were gonna make it before we say goodbye.
Pretty sure I had that same discussion with my parents.
We all have. Did you ever lock your parents out of the car by getting all the locks?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck you, Mom. What you gonna do now? I can't drive. Fuck, wait, I didn't think this through.
Oh, wrong. Nah. Only suckers wait in line.
I thought they were gonna cut this because they had them take a back door, but why does the back door lead to the front door?
He guards all doors.
You're not dead.
We're all dying. To some extent. You can buy a new whistle.
It's a good joke.
Yeah.
Wait, did Grover just get eaten?
Yeah, Grover's dead. Nope. No, yeah, he's dead.
Vomit up my friend. Come on, buddy. Vomit up my friend. That's not how mouths work.
He was actually like in
He
the
was
cheek.
just in the cheek.
He was just in here, hanging out. That's not how mouths work.
It just isn't. What?
Oh, wow.
Am I wrong, though? The dog's mouth is clearly closed.
Yeah,
And Grover crawled through his teeth.
sure did.
That was effective. That dog lost that ball real quick.
My father had a dog when I was little. I guess I remember the tricks.
I thought Grover.
My father had a dog when I was little.
I thought Grover was the one who liked
No.
animals.
Annabeth is the one in the book that does that.
Yeah.
But my father had a dog when I was little. I guess I remembered the tricks. Is hilarious dialogue.
What? My pearl. I lost the pearl. It's in the dog.
How? I thought they were gonna lose the pearl in some like plot
Epic.
way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That
No, it just fell out of my pocket
really-
while I was in the dog's mouth.
I was like, they're gonna build tension.
Wow.
He drew a picture of a horse with wings.
Wait. You said it was a drawing.
We aren't equipped to offer the kind of psychological monitoring we believe your child will require here.
Yeah, and I had my teacher call me Charmander for 2 fucking years. That's not that weird.
They're also a school for people with learning differences.
Why don't you have the... Who would have the things if not you?
If you don't.
We don't have the ways to deal with this.
As someone who went to a school for people with learning disabilities.
No, we specialize in idiots, not in learning. What?
Like, Percy never, like, attacked anyone or was
He drew a
violent.
Pegasus and managed to get on the roof. And they're like, this kid is deranged.
Deranged.
In the book, he
Not-
launched a cannonball at a school bus.
That's a little more aggressive.
Yes! In this, he went on the roof, and the guy, I don't know how to keep him off roofs. I can't do roofs.
Getting left behind. Period. After we get the bolt and stop this war.
Look, if Grover doesn't have zippered pockets, don't give him another thing. Wait, what happened?
She's stuck.
Yeah, but what was that sequence of events?
Some kind of regret. Right?
They're making up stuff for the show because the book apparently... The book plot that they've cut was... I don't know.
I know you can.
Run! Now!
Isn't she gonna get eaten by the doll?
No, she's gonna use the pearl to boop up to
Right now?
Santa Monica. Oh, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Cool. The transitions on this show are wild.
They are just arriving places.
Yeah, everywhere. And they never, like, learn about anything. They are just always just going to the next place in the book.
Wild.
Yeah, it's weird.
He chased us all that way and then just stopped.
Oh, it did. I guess that happened off screen.
Percy! Goober!
It would be really awesome if they had foreshadowed what this was. Instead of it just being
Just
a
a
random
hole?
fucking nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very strange. Strange choices.
There's just a hole in the ground. There's a hole in the ground. And
Like, that is literally just a scene from the book without context.
yeah. 100%.
It's bigger on the inside.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a really well-designed prop.
Okay. So, what is it then?
I don't know, Grove. I think it is.
Wait, this isn't my bag. This is the bag Ares gave me.
But this school's gonna be really good for you. I know that too.
At least this principal isn't against kids that get on the roof sometimes. Hopefully.
Kids that draw? Mm.
He drew a Pegasus.
Why are you trying so hard to get rid of me? I would never do this to you.
Jesus Christ.
So is he
Come
going
on,
to
go
that
be a
school
good
or
mom.
not?
Go be a good mom. Answer his question. Or don't. Okay.
Commercial.
She's kind of a terrible mom. Like, if my kid was like, why are you getting rid of me? I'd be like, I'm sending you to school because I want you to have a bright future and I want you to have friends.
I'm not getting rid of you.
I'm not leaving. You just gotta, everyone goes to school, kid.
It's weird to not respond to that.
It's weird to say nothing and be like, I'm gonna go pay. Like, have a passive-aggressive response to your own child.
Yeah, because then it makes it seem like you are trying to...
Oh, hey, they're out of the desert.
But also, is he going to that school or not?
I have no fucking clue what's going on. If I hadn't read the book, I would be incensed right now. I'm kind of just making fun of it because they were literally like, let's just fucking show shit from the books. Don't explain anything. People who haven't read the books will be so fucking confused why the wings flew towards a hole for no reason. The hole that appeared suddenly in a desert that wasn't there 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Fuck non-book readers. Book readers will go, ooh, member berries. And that's what our episode is going to be. And that's what this is, right?
Yeah.
This is just stuff that happens in the book without context. Because when they go to the hole, it's in a cave, and they're like, hey, I dreamt about that. Yeah. That's where fucking the bad guy is.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't go in there.
Yeah.
And here they're like, whoa, hole! Oh no, we have the bolt now!
What a wild sequence of events.
It's a great set, though. That looks fucking sick.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but it's all candy canes and rainbows down here. I don't really do jealous.
He's great.
Yeah.
Someone stole Zeus's bolt. It wasn't me. It must have been somebody who was...
Phonos.
Whoa.
I thought you didn't want the bolt.
I don't want the bolt. Now I need the bolt. If war with Kronos is coming, I'd like to be prepared.
Fair.
Great. Your first offer. We're gonna go get your helm. And when I get back, you're gonna let my mom go.
Okay, hang on, kid.
Okay.
Sick.
Come on. Be a good mom. You got this.
I believe in you.
I want to believe in you. Okay.
That is home.
And I am failing.
No, you're not.
You're on thin ice.
It's gonna be torture for the both of you. But he will be stronger for it on the other side.
The show really has it out for schools for some reason.
Yeah.
It's gonna be torture.
On that day, I'll be right by his side.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting. I think the same people who are already upset at us are going to continue to be upset at us for how I feel about that.
That's fine.
But that was a series of interesting choices. I do wonder, from the perspective of the showrunners, what they think this is without the books. You know what I mean? Like like this as a TV show without the book. How and why they go places is so random.
Yeah.
That I get it. The book is great and it exists. But it feels like you need it to watch this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like trying to play a freaking Zelda game without a game guide. You're like, where is everything and what is happening?
Yeah, it's like Zelda 2. You know, like the book is Ocarina of Time, and this is Zelda 2.
Sure, yeah.
It's fascinating because I think the actors are genuinely carrying us through the scenes in a way that like makes it palatable, right? I think that they are doing such a good job that moments feel great.
Yeah. And I think that's what carries the show, right? Because you are able to have a show where if you don't think about it and you turn your brain off and you just ride the wave, it's a pretty good wave. You know? Characters are fun. The special effects are like pretty decent, and it's it's a pretty.
I don't know that these last two episodes have been fun enough for that distinction. I really don't. Like, I don't...
I mean, last week, I think, was a huge disappointment because there was no fun in the most fun place.
Yeah.
Like, in a negative way. Like, it is supposed to be addictive.
Yeah.
And it was so boring that I was like, it couldn't be me. But I think that you just... Yeah, it's like the showrunners were like, we're not really gonna bother where, why, how, what else is happening, how people get around, how information is distributed. It's just gonna kind of be there. Or not sometimes. Or like shoehorn that in afterwards. But they don't understand that like the part that makes it interesting is the foreshadowing of it. And I'm sure people are gonna be like, well, he had the dreams. He had the dreams. But there was like it was in a way that was fan servicey, not in a way that was servicing the plot.
But I don't even think it was fan servicey. I think the dreams were very random.
They were. I just mean the book people are like, oh, I know what that's supposed to be.
He's supposed to dream of the whole.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
He doesn't dream of that. He dreams of a weird, like, ghost in the desert that looks like one of those asphodel tree mummy things.
Yeah, he's the guy at the
And then
desk.
he dreams about his, like, school principal.
Yeah.
In the Oval Office. He never dreams about the whole.
Yeah.
Weirdly, in the whole show. And then they get to it, and he's like, that's the thing I was dreaming about. And I think that, as a book reader, I go, I know that that's what he was dreaming about, and he puts together. But if I had just seen the show, I'd be like, no, the desert wasn't one of the dreams. But then why was his school principal the other dream?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? The one that he has where the other person's there.
Yeah. I thought maybe that was supposed to be Ares, but it doesn't make any sense.
But then also, like, how they get to the hole is very strange.
They just appear places.
The lightning bolt is supposed to appear in his backpack when he gets into hell, when he gets into Hades, not when he gets as close to Tartarus as possible. And maybe, but because that's not how it works. And there's a specific reason in the books why it's when he gets into the underworld, not when he gets close to Tartarus.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil anything for people who are not book readers who are going to watch next week. But the reason, the moment when it appears in the backpack is important because it belays the person who put it in the backpack's intention and what the goal of that character was.
Yeah.
by moving the point that the bolt appears to the point that they did, it makes it seem like that character has information that character can't have, or else this gets very weird and different. And like, maybe we'll go spoilers at the end and I'll explain this. I'm confused about what we're doing now in a way that is very interesting, because we're in the right spot. Like, we have weirdly gotten to the point we're supposed to get to where Percy has the information he needs to finish the book. Mm-hmm. The audience is missing a lot of the information. And they've moved some stuff so that it is harder to buy what the end of this book is going to be.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons, and maybe we should just get into it. But
let's just get into it.
Okay, book spoilers, because we can't talk about this without this.
Yeah.
So the Master Bolt is supposed to appear in the backpack when they get to the Underworld, because Ares is trying to send. You have to understand that Luke stole the bolt. Yes. Sorry, I said full book spoilers. So Luke stole the bolt. Ares caught him trying to deliver it to Tartarus. Kronos puts the mental story in Luke's head to tell Ares to convince him to start a war. So Ares puts it in the backpack, and it is going to go into the Underworld because he wants Hades to get it so that he can get his brothers to go to war. Yeah. Ares is unaware of the fact that Kronos is involved. And so in order for Ares to remain unaware of the fact that Kronos is involved, it is important that it is when he gets to the Underworld and not when he gets to Tartarus. Yeah. Because if it's when he gets to Tartarus, that implies that Ares knows that Kronos is involved. Yeah. Do you see how that is a problem for... Yeah. You are changing in order to have it be, the bolt is here. You're changing the motivations of the characters around the events of this plot. Yeah. And so now Luke and Ares are working together for Kronos? I don't think so, right? It can't be that. But by putting the bolt in the wrong place, you are literally changing the meaning of the story. Yeah. In a way that makes...
And who knows what, and motivations. And I just don't understand why you would change any of those things.
Because Ares does not want Kronos out. Nobody wants Kronos out. And
that's very bad for everybody.
It's just, it's tough. It's tough watching this to go... Oh, okay. And then also, the fourth pearl, and then losing it immediately in Cerberus was, the dumbest, book readers, we're fucking with you, but with no... I know. There's no tension.
Was awful.
There was no tension in the Krusty scene, because he walks in and is like, hey, you're Krusty, those are a trap. Why? Just cut it. Just fucking have them... Just cut it. Just have them walk into hell.
Yeah. At that point, whatever. It would have honestly been better. I would have rather have had that time... establishing getting through hell.
Because here's the problem. It is not for show watchers. Because show watchers are going, wait, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, they don't know what that is.
They don't know who he is. They don't know how they got there. No. They don't know, I feel like I'm losing my mind. There's a reason why they end up in Krusty. They get chased there by the mean kids, and they end up there by accident. Yeah. It isn't like they don't go in being like, we know who you are, we know what your whole deal is. Annabeth is invisible. Between episodes, they came up with the plan to kill that guy.
Yeah, I don't know why they're changing things. I don't know what the point is.
Because they don't want to do the work of telling a story. They just want to show us stuff from... And I'm sorry, this is mean, but they're just showing us stuff that happens in the book quicker than it happens in the book in order to say that they got through it. But they're not telling the story. There's no arc to this. Our characters are not figuring anything out. They walk into the Lotus and they go, oh, don't eat the Lotus shit. This is the Lotus place. Literally, they walk up to Medusa and they're like, hey, that's Medusa. I guess we're going to have to fight Medusa this episode because we figured out before we entered her house that that's Medusa. They've done this in every single, beat of the story. I guess
he was like, oh, Kronos, right at the end. But still, it didn't feel like it was... earned in any way.
But even...
We didn't watch him figure it out. We watched him be like, Kronos.
Oh God, it's Kronos. Of course it's Kronos. A character who has not been mentioned on the show so far.
No.
Right? Has not been brought up.
That's why it's weird. That's why I'm I don't understand. Look, I am happy to watch an adaptation where things are changed for a reason. If you're like, you know what? We want to have a different message with this, or I think I can improve on my previous work, or because
like the Medusa episode, which is an improvement of what happens in the book,
which I think was an improvement, and I was like, oh, okay, see, changes don't necessarily have to be bad, and now it just feels like they are changing things for the whimsy of changing things to make it different, and by doing that, it is making it worse.
I just cannot get over Sally going into the school and the principal being like, he drew a horse with wings, and then he was on the roof and he said he saw
audacity!
Like the idea that the principal of a school for students with special needs would be that fucking insane is it is straight up bad writing. Like, it isn't kind of, it's, oh my God, I totally understand. It is bad writing.
Yeah, that one is, like, egregious.
The shit that I told my teachers when I was 6 or 7, he's a child.
Yeah.
He drew a Pegasus. Like, it is, it is the least insane. I would be like, hey, how did the child get on the roof? I don't think that's the fucking kid's fault.
Yeah.
Your school has bad security.
Look, here's the thing. If the principal was like, look, we've heard about your son. He pulled a knife on a teacher and, like, peed all over the classroom and, like, beat up his classmates, I'd be like,
yeah.
Okay, you definitely need some at-home attention, some extra security. There's, like, you know, some problematic tendencies here that
100%.
maybe the school would not be equipped to deal with. But a school for people with learning disabilities that is like, you know what, your kid is a little bit different and we're just not equipped to handle that is actually insane.
but like, at least keep the fucking, he shot a cannon at a school bus.
Sure.
Like, keep the he shot a cannon at a school bus from the book.
Because you'd be like, oh, fuck, okay.
Hilarious.
Oh, like, okay, that's a line that gets crossed
Right.
that you're like, I can understand why the principal might be a bit apprehensive.
It's also something that Sally can go, it was an accident, he's 6, right? Like, you can have both sides of it in that case. You can't both
didn't know he was
sides.
setting off a cannon.
Drew a horse with wings. Like, that's a fucking...
That's an absurd, yeah.
And, like, maybe this is for kids... But, like, if you're, first of all, if you're
But
making a
that's
show
like
for
being,
kids,
like-
don't hate on school like this, because that's bad.
Yeah,
You want to
and-
convince kids that learning is awesome.
And don't be like, only fucking weirdos draw Pegasus.
Yes! No, and that's the thing, is that, like, I feel like Rick Riordan maybe has just read his own books so many times that he was like, well, I've got to do something different because this is boring. Because it feels like that every single step of the way. It is changed, and the characters on screen have information far sooner than their counterparts in the books do. Mm-hmm. They keep walking into every situation and just knowing what's up. They just keep telling the audience, oh, it's this. Oh, it's this. Oh, that's crusty. I don't remember. Patroclus.
Yeah. Because the most interesting part of the show so far for me has been when Grover figures out that Ares is involved.
Yeah, that was
that
great.
was the
that
most
scene was
interesting
awesome.
because we see him discover information and draw conclusions from that, and it was great.
And that's a change
Awesome
from the
moment.
books.
Definitely a change.
The Annabeth chair is a better moment than the mechanical spiders. You know what I mean? Like the Annabeth Hephaestus chair sequence is a stronger story beat, in my opinion, than, oh no, there's spiders, and Annabeth doesn't know what to do, so Percy saves her because she's so scared of spiders, and they're on the water, and then Grover catches them with his wings. Like, it is just that episode 5 is a better version of the same story.
And that's the thing is, I love good changes, well done changes. Like there are things that are different that I love, but some of it is just bonkers, and I cannot fathom it.
Yeah, I am
baffled.
I'm baffled. And I feel like I'm being so critical. And I don't want to be, because I really like the book. And there's episodes, I think episode 3 and episode 5 of this show are really strong. But everything around that, I don't think is.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. Like, I know people are going to be upset with that. They're going to be like, no, you're wrong. But, like, as a television show, I think that this is failing on so many levels right now, particularly these last 2 episodes. And I am concerned about the longevity of this series, because I think that this series, has to overcome the bad will of the movie in the general public.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet.
What about the musical?
Well, even the musical is hit or miss with people.
Oh, a lot.
People either love it or hate it, right? No, I know. And part of that is that I think that Broadway is a terrible place, especially towards musicals that aren't geared towards old white people. Seriously. I think that any musical that is geared towards anyone under the age of 25 is maligned for terrible reasons that are unfair, that create a narrative around the show. I think The Lightning Thief is good depending on the cast.
Sure.
If you have a great cast, you're going to have a good time. I don't know that it is the best adaptation, but it is what it is. This is not. This is starting to fall into if you want to watch scenes that you like from the book in live action, read the book up until the scene and then watch the scene in the show.
Yeah.
And then go back to the book, because the book will explain how and why the characters are there, and the show will just show you that they went there and knew what was up.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a weakness of this show in a way that I'm disappointed by.
Yeah.
Because the Kronos reveal should be huge.
Yeah.
And it just comes out of fucking
And it was
nowhere.
like, oh, okay then.
It
like,
just, he's literally like, oh yeah, I've been dreaming about that hole. And you're like, no, you haven't.
Yeah.
I really thought that his principal was going to be there.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
But instead it's just, they were literally in the middle of a desert all of a sudden. They don't introduce Elysium. They don't introduce so many of the things that are introduced in Hell.
Oh, the dog. Weird. We haven't heard that in a while.
Well, and the concept of, like, humans are...
That's not how mouths work.
But it isn't. It just fucking isn't. Like, I know how fucking mouths work. And if the dog's mouth is on the ground closed, Grover isn't climbing out of it.
Wait. Not only is it on the ground closed, there is another head on top of it,
Those
keeping
teeth
it shut.
are closed.
They are shut for business.
And
okay?
so it's just, it's...
That was so wild.
The show is not fast and entertaining enough to be a kids show.
Yeah.
It's too boring to be considered a young kids show.
Yeah,
but
it does not move fast enough.
It isn't, like, intelligently written enough to be for adults.
Yeah.
It is trying to, like, thread a line that I don't think, in hindsight, people are going to be happy about.
No, I think they missed the mark.
I think that there are going to be a lot of fans that defend this. And there's going to be people who love it, don't get me wrong. And there's people who love everything. But then I think there's going to be a middle ground.
There are things in it that are worth loving, absolutely.
Oh, of course.
Like,
I think the cast deserves no hate at all. I don't think there's any, and look, there's members of the cast that I've said some critical things about.
Sure.
I would still say that I would like for Walker to have a little bit more energy in some scenes. I think that
agree.
he's a little flat.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it's direction, because he's a kid and it's usually direction when it's a kid. I wish that he was just a little bit... I think that a lot of the pacing issues of the show come from his performance being a little flat, unfortunately.
It is the three of them. Like, there's, like, space and pauses that don't need to...
But the reason why I think it's direction and not that it's the kids is that final scene between Poseidon and Sally was, like, 4 minutes longer than it needed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all of that dialogue...
I've also never seen children kind of talk like this and at this pace. And
especially
really,
kids
like,
who worse won't have ADHD.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, the show in episode 1 and 2 says these characters have ADHD.
Yeah.
And then the only version of ADHD they have is that sometimes Percy gets a little bit distracted.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes he's not paying attention for a second.
Yeah.
But they're not...
But it's like sometimes they, are on drugs, and they're just, everything is slower than it needs to be. And
yeah,
I feel like it is just slow. And it's not, like you said, it's not their performances of it. It does feel like someone was like, no, you gotta really draw it out. And they're like, okay.
But it's the writing, too.
Strange.
When they get to Hades, and he starts explaining, Hades lets him get through this whole fucking, like, thing, and Hades isn't like, where's my helm? There's no...
Yeah.
The war has started, right? There is literally
like
war going on above,
should have the
and
moment
Hades
of,
is like, all right, come on.
Look, I liked the moment... I think what it should have been is, like... I like the moment of, like, Hades being like, you give me what you got and I'll give you this. But then there's Percy talking about the Master Bolt for 2 whole minutes.
Yeah.
As soon as like, Hades should be like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, but he 100%. Just, like, lets him go on.
And the joke at the end of it is funny, and so I think that's why they kept it. Because the joke of, wait, Ares is, what? Like, that beat from that actor was well played. And so
sure.
I understand why they were like, oh, this works, because this is kind of funny. But the shoe leather, as they say, to get there, was too much.
Too much. You could have cut it by a third or quarter. Yeah.
Annabeth has a regret. Like, yeah, we fucking know. We get it. She had, like, of course, it's Thalia. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no version of that where the audience is like,
Which is why it
What?
just wasn't interesting.
Yeah.
Because, like, we know why she's there. We know what's happening. It just removes her from the following scenes.
It removes her from a scene where she doesn't do anything, which I get.
Sure.
And it makes it more about her, which maybe is smart long term. But
we'll see. That one, I'm open to the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know. I'm really flabbergasted by this.
Yeah, like, depending on how the finale is, like, I don't know if I would watch a season 2.
I don't know
even depending
either.
on how the finale is, I don't think I would rewatch season 1 unless it's just brings it home in a way that I am not expecting. But I think that the way that they've set it up and the way they've delivered information and the way that this world works, I don't have faith in that. I think at best we're going to get a serviceable finale that is hopefully fun and action packed, but I don't know if we're going to get one that is going to be impactful for me. My issue with it is that the action, the finale will literally be 5 minutes of action and then 25 minutes of exposition. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the structure of the book is not great for climax.
Yeah.
In live action.
Sure.
The structure is fine for climax in the book. Luke's whole,
it's not your favorite, but it's...
No, I have an issue with Luke getting away with it and then being like, Percy, let me tell you exactly what happened so that everybody knows I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
is not very strong in my opinion. He literally could have gotten away with it and continued to be a spy within Camp Half-Blood. Like, there's a more interesting version of that story where Percy never figures out who betrays him until the next book.
Yeah.
And you save that. And instead Luke's like, come down to the forest with me. Oh no, a scorpion bit you. You're definitely going to die from that because you're not half god who can be healed by the most abundant resource on earth.
Water.
Let me tell you how I am the bad guy responsible for everything. And
Yeah,
I'm going to murder you with a scorpion, but I'm not going to actually murder you for some reason. It's just,
he could have gotten away with it. It wasn't for that scorpion.
I think they're going to change that because I don't think it's very good.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be mostly exposition in the finale. And it's why I think the movie got rid of Ares. They're like, let's cut Ares out of this and let's make this Percy v. Luke at the end.
Yeah.
And I almost think that might be the stronger choice, weirdly, for a story, but it isn't what's in the book. In adapting the book, they're going to have to do something to make the final episode of this not 30 minutes of exposition after a 5-minute fight. Because Ares and Percy can't fight for 30 minutes on the beach.
Yeah.
There's not enough that you can do.
Yeah.
And the show isn't strong enough in the action side to pull that off. Like, it would be really weird if Percy's just suddenly a fucking god with a sword.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm confused by everything. Hades is so chill, even though his brothers are about to go to war. In the book, Hades has caused an earthquake that is destroying Los Angeles.
Hades has?
Yeah, because he's like unleashing his army on the world because his brothers are doing it.
Right.
And so when Percy ends up on the beach, he like swims to the beach and it's just flames. Like
Yeah.
Los Angeles is on fire.
Yeah.
And so the backdrop of the fight between Ares and Percy is Los Angeles is on fire. There's social worker or there's like first responders everywhere on the beach because they're rescuing people. Percy and Grover get like rescued by the Coast Guard and get pulled to the beach, right? There's this like giant disaster feeling.
Yeah.
And in this, Ares is chilling on the beach. Nothing's happening, even though the show has changed it so that the deadline for war has already passed. Like, it would make more sense if in the book the war had already started and they were late. But in this version, well, they got there early enough. But they've switched it. They've swapped it. And so the war is going on, but there's nothing. It's not even raining.
No.
Poseidon and Zeus, the water and the air are fighting right now. They're at war. And they're on a beach on the Pacific and there is no weather.
Yeah.
Why? Why cut Hades has destroyed Los Angeles?
Well,
like,
and
why
then
make
it
it
makes
less
it weird.
interesting?
Well, and then it's weird when Poseidon is in the final scene with Sally and it's like raining. Like, she like calls him and suddenly there is a storm. Like,
yeah,
we know that the weather is related to the gods and.
But that's not true in the show. That's the
but
first
that
time.
Moment
that is
makes
the
it
first
true.
time that's true in the show.
Yeah.
Whereas in the books, it's foreshadowed.
Yeah,
Everything is foreshadowed in the
Everything's
books.
falling apart. That things are bad. There's all these natural.
So because they've cut setting anything up, except for like the direct thing that is happening in every scene, which is what the show does. This scene is where we handle Krusty. We handled Krusty. This scene is where we go to the door. We handle the door. We get the ball. The ball was foreshadowed because they were like, how does Annabeth get a rubber ball? Which is, she just has, I get it.
The part that's weird as well is that they show up at Krusty's.
Yeah.
Like, they have to go through a city, and apparently the war has already started, and...
No, in the book it hasn't.
No, in the show.
Oh, yeah, no, it's bright skies.
And they just, they just walk into a shop. Like, they're, like, the gods going to war doesn't seem to be a bad thing. Like, it doesn't seem to affect the world whatsoever. Like...
But also, what's interesting about that is that in the show, they've never established what war means between the gods.
Yeah.
In the books, they do, right?
Yeah.
In the books, they say, like, all of these natural disasters will start to happen. The show has never explicitly set up the consequences of war, which I called out at the end of episode 2 before I had read the book, and I was like, wait, what happens if they go to war?
Yeah.
What happens if the deadline is reached? And in the show, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing has happened.
I thought that things would get progressively worse as the show went on. Oh, we didn't introduce in episode 2. Okay, there's still time. There's time. And
hey,
now
to be fair,
we are in the 11th hour.
The lighting has gotten worse since the solstice hit. The scenes are frequently not lit since the solstice.
Yeah.
Before the solstice, the entire show was lit really well.
Yeah.
Nothing was in the dark. But since the solstice, every half of the scenes don't have lights. So I think that they ran out of money for lighting, and they had to return their rentals.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. That's it for me. I'm disappointed.
But just my final point I want to make is that I sincerely hope this gets a second season, because the fan base of the show is so big, and I am becoming a fan of it because I really like the books. We were talking today about how I was like, oh my god, it would be so fun to run a TTRPG set in this world and have like 4 demigods on an adventure across America, right?
Yeah.
I was like, that would be a fun like TTRPG podcast that I'd love to produce. There is something about Rick Riordan's writing in the book that captures people, because there's stuff there. There's something there that like nailed it.
Yeah.
And so it is more frustrating, and I understand why watching these reactions might be frustrating unless you're looking for catharsis and you feel the same way we do. But it is more frustrating to me because I think the source material nailed it the first time mostly. I think there's things that I would change about the very ending.
But like tweaks, not like overhaul.
I would overhaul the final scene between Luke and Percy.
Yeah.
I would completely rewrite that. I would keep almost everything else.
I just wouldn't have it happen.
Well, you have to because of the next books, right? So like there's a reason for it. But what I would say is that I think the series deserves a solid second season, and I hope that Rick Riordan and his team go and get a filmmaker who is well versed in action cinematography and editing, and I hope that they go find a writer who understands how to bring context to film scripts.
Yeah.
Because the source material is killer. The source material has a huge fan base that is ravenous for a really good adaptation of this show. And they deserve that. They really do deserve that. And I think that you can have a bad season 1. Halo Season 2 is about to come out, and I'm excited to see what the new showrunners and completely new team have done with it. Because I really didn't like Season 1 of Halo. But I'm still going into Season 2 going, I really hope that they learned the lessons that they fucked up in Season 1, and that in Season 2 we're going to get the Halo show that I've always wanted. Because I hate Parks and Rec Season 1, and it is one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and so I will always give you a Season 2. But you have to look at what went wrong. You have to Parks and Rec it. You have to go, this didn't work. This was not our best effort. What can we do to change for Season 2 and make the rest of the show successful on the backs of a mediocre Season 1? And I sincerely hope that they do that here, because these kids are great. The casting that they have pulled off is awesome. I don't know how I feel about Poseidon yet. I really expected a name. And he was I don't know who that actor is, which was surprising to me, given that I know all of the other gods. Because all the other gods are stunt casts, right? They're all people who I recognize.
I don't recognize any of them.
You do recognize Hephaestus because you've seen Gallivant. He's the king of Gallivant.
But that's not stunt cast. Like Gallivant
it
wasn't
is.
a
He's
big
a huge star.
Okay, I don't know who Ares is. I don't know.
Ares
who
is the
Hades
Edge.
is.
The Edge is a very famous WWE wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a big part of my childhood. The Hades is I know who he is, but I don't know his name off the top of my head.
I don't know who he is, so these mean nothing.
Hephaestus is Gallivant, and he's the lead detective on Psych, the USA show that ran forever.
Okay.
We should watch Psych. He is.
I want to go watch Gallivant.
Right? So all of the gods, and then obviously Lin-Manuel Miranda's Hermes, they are all kind of stunt casts, or at least known properties. And it was surprising that arguably one of the most important ones was someone I've never met before.
Know who he is?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, I sincerely hope that the finale's great, and I sincerely hope that we get a season 2 that takes what was great about the season 1, which was mostly the cast and some of the visuals, and elevates it to just a better show in season 2.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, like that was kind of a rocky, weird episode of television that.
Yeah, not my favorite.
It's just scenes that don't connect to each other. Very well.
I think episode 6 and 7 have been the weakest, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But there is still hope. There is still hope. If you like this video, I'm trying to Google it. Like and subscribe to the channel.
If you don't, so you do it.
Hit the dislike button. Leave a mean comment for the algorithm goddess because.
His name is Toby Stevens.
Yeah.
Wait, Lance Reddick was supposed to be on this show? That's so... Did he not get to film before he passed? Oh, he's Zeus?
Spoilers.
That's gonna be so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love Lance Reddick. Oh my god, I didn't know he was in this.
Well, leave a comment below for Lance Reddick. And yeah, I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's in the fucking Bond movie.
Oh, so see,
That's
he is
so
stunt
funny.
casting. There you go.
Yeah.
Wrong.
No,
Wrong.
I didn't recognize him.
Look.
He's in Die Another Day.
People expect me not to recognize people. It is a specialty of mine. I don't know who anybody is. I'm terrible with names. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I saw them in something.
Oh, he was in that Lost in Space on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
Didn't hear about that one.
Oh shit, he's got a theater career.
Anyways, you can follow us around the
Dude's
internet.
in fucking everything.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
I'm at Nerdy Nightly. I'm going through this guy's filmography.
Do something nerdy.
Oh, he's in 13 Hours. I've seen this guy in a bunch of movies. I'm dumb.
Wrong.
Severance.
Wrong.
Midsummer Dream.
Goodbye.
Wow.
Goodbye.
Space Cowboys.
Goodbye.